Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my Gel X nail prep. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, make sure you subscribe. So let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is go ahead and spray some alcohol onto a paper towel and disinfect my tools. These are the only things I use it for, but I do want to make sure I clean them every single time just to make sure there's nothing on them before going in and doing any kind of prep or cuticle work. The next thing you see me doing here is adding some cuticle remover to all of my cuticles. And the one that I use is the Sally Hansen cuticle remover. I have used this since I started, and this bottle has lasted me nearly that entire time. It lasts forever and is so worth it. I think I got it for a few dollars at like Walgreens or something. And I just let that sit for a few seconds before going in with this little scraper tool to kind of push back my cuticles. You do want to make sure when you're using one of these that you hold it as flat against your nail as possible. That way it's not actually scraping into your nail. Um, if you are worried about using one of the metal ones at first, the wooden ones are a little gentler. They also have plastic ones. I just prefer the metal one. After I push my cuticles back, I'm going in with the opposite side of this tool, just kind of scrape out or scrape off that dead cuticle that was pushed back. And I do this to all of my nails. And I did not speed up that process between putting the remover on and going and pressing those cuticles back. It only takes a few seconds. Right after, I'm going in with some rubbing alcohol just to kind of clean up anything that's left on there and get rid of any of the like oiliness from that cuticle remover. The next thing I'm doing is going in with my e-file and a cuticle bit, and you're going to want to use your cuticle bit very, very low speed. So I'm setting it to speed number 3 here, and just going around my cuticles. I start in the middle and work my way towards each side of those, just kind of rubbing off any of that dead cuticle skin that's still sitting on my nail plate. This will help our um, hard gel or gel polish or extensions adhere much easier later on because there's no skin interfering with that gel adhering to the nail. Once I've done that to all of my fingers, the next thing that I'm going to do is go in with some cuticle scissors. And you can see me here looking to see if my thumb needs those cuticles cut, and I determined that it does not. I only do it when there's a lot of excess cuticle skin, and I do make sure that I'm just clipping that dead skin right there. So on this finger right here, you can see what looks white right there. That is all that I'm trimming off. You don't want to cut too deeply, you don't want to draw blood, and you don't want to cut any of the live skin. So you're just going to want to cut anything that is white sitting on top of the skin there. And so there's a few fingers that I felt the need to do that for. This is what they look like after I have trimmed off any of the dead cuticle. The next thing I'm going to do is go in with a file to try to roughen up the surface of my nails. That way any products will adhere better to them. After I rough them up, I'm going to go ahead and spray a little rubbing alcohol on them and give them a wipe down to dehydrate them. After that, I'm going with my Young Nails Protein Bond. This is my absolute favorite primer. The bottle is so small, but it lasts forever. I've had the same bottle now for around 5 or 6 months, and it has lasted that entire time, and I use it every time I do my nails. It is amazing, and I would say that it is definitely part of the reason for the retention that I get when I do extensions. The next thing I'm going in with is a base coat, and I use the brand Gaoy, if that's how you say it. I'm not entirely sure, but it is the brand that I started with, and I absolutely love it. I've had no issues out of that brand, and I did buy it on Amazon, but I'm just doing a really thin coat of base coat on each of my nails. Once that's done, I'm going to cure that for a full 60 seconds. Once that is done curing, I'm going in with a Gaoy hard gel, and this is a non-soak off gel, and I do just use a little flat brush to apply it. This I use in order to keep my nails healthy because I do change them out fairly frequently. And I'm just starting by going with a slip layer on each nail, a super, super thin layer. And I'm not curing this before I go in with another layer And this layer just helps the gel know where to go. That way when I add a little bit more, I just kind of do a bead at the bottom and it follows the path of the slip layer that I put down, and that keeps me from having any excess running into my cuticles or into my sidewalls or anything like that. This just keeps it nice and clean and keeps any spillage from happening. And I do go ahead and do all of my nails at one time because this is not thick. I'm not adding an apex, nothing like that. Just adding this as a little layer to protect my nails from any damage that would come from doing them constantly. After I apply this to all 5 fingers, I do go ahead and put it back in the lamp for another 60-second full cure. After the nails are cured, the very last thing I'm going to do is go in with one more wipe with rubbing alcohol, and that is to remove that tacky layer. And then that is how I do my nail prep, and I do get 3 to 4 weeks retention at least before I remove my nails. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a good night, and I can't wait to see you again soon.